What up, y'all? Welcome back to Shadowland Universes, and welcome back to Shadowland Offerings. I am DC Fago Guy. Joining me, as always, Gage and Robbie, co-hosts
Hey,
with the
Hello.
mostest. How we doing, guys?
good.
Doing great.
Just ready to talk Shadowland, ready to talk music, as always. Big fan of talking about music, and yeah, that's why we're here today. So I'm stoked.
I like talking about music almost as much as listening to it. So
Yeah.
I think same. Like I love listening to music, but if I get really on a roll talking about it, nothing's better.
yeah,
And we definitely got a lot of dope ass fucking music that dropped.
Yeah,
Obviously, we are neck deep into May, so we wanted to come on and do like a recap of April, of March, of all the primarily I'm going to say the music that is dropped, but we're going to touch on some other stuff. We like to touch on topics of things that have dropped, but I think primarily the focus is all about that music, baby, because a lot of great fucking music has dropped.
yeah. But outside of that, let's see. How did we, as a trio, as a crew, feel about the setup of this last schedule? It was pretty different than the way that they normally go, where there's just like a series of things happen, and some lead up to others or whatever. This was pretty set. There was the first. Each month had its little chunk of kind of random stuff up top, where there would be like a merch drop, a mask, so on and so forth, and then bottom half, of each month was Neon Sermon, Mission INFECT, and then it would be like boom, 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 getting hit with stuff every day from that group. I thought that was really a fun and exciting new way to do it. I was really pleased with how that worked out.
Same. It's a formula I hope he continues going forward because it was very digestible.
Yeah.
The fact that it mainly, I mean, we had 2 months, but it was like divided up into 2 months and then even kind of divided up further, like you were saying. It felt super digestible, and honestly, it made the schedule feel like it kind of flew by just a little bit.
Totally.
So I'm hoping that that's like the format going forward, rather than like a quarterly drop of all the shit that's going to be in the works.
Yeah, I thought it worked out really cool. There was also I noticed less fall off. There's always like when it's like 3 months of just like weekly, bi-weekly stuff, some stuff gets lost in the mix. I think just about everything on these schedules happened, which, love to see it.
yeah.
Right.
It made it's simpler to just take it all in and kind of plan everything out as like a person going along with it, and then I think it was simpler for them to kind of follow through, and like nothing really fell off. Because it was a little more concise. And the theming of it was also really fun to kind of like shine on like one aspect of something.
Totally.
I think I like the way they did it, and yeah, I would like to see this style of thing return. It was not overwhelming, just enough cool stuff to keep excited, and then kind of came, soaked it in, and here we are now.
Yeah. And yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it needs to be every one of them needs to be like this, because I do like the randomness sometimes. But I think this was a really cool way to highlight two of the groups within the universes of Shadowland universes. I thought that was a really neat. Like, hey, you not been thinking about Neon Sermon lately? Boom, here's a lot of it all at once. Put it back on your radar. Same with INFECT, and yeah, obviously new music from both is a treat.
Always.
Super cool way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. What were some of your guys' favorite non-music drops? Let's get into that stuff before we get really into the thick of it. What were you vibing with on the let's see, we had everything from, I mean, this was actually a pretty big one, more than I imagined now that I'm looking at it. We got everything from the introduction to Shadow Rank, which has been a lot of fun. We talked about it when it was brand new, maybe not even rolled out. Is that a possibility?
I think we got like a preview of it. And
we got a sneak peek for sure.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if it was even rolled out by the time we discussed it. I think it must have been somewhat, but
I think we kind of helped like roll it out, I think. But I think it's cool. I still check on mine every so often. It's a fun thing to go and check out and look at the closets and he still updates with merch drops, like little collectibles you can get. So I'll go and look at those sometime still. So yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I'm pretty sure we did talk about Shadow Rank before it like debuted to the public. I'm pretty sure we recorded our episode for it, but we definitely have talked about it in length. And Shadow Rank, admittedly, I haven't been paying as much attention to it. I've got a lot of distractions in my life right now. But I've seen some stuff being like put on the circle that there's like potentially some changes that might be coming with like the way that the rank works. I don't know. I see the polls, so maybe he's just looking for feedback.
Yeah. But, when we talked about it originally, I know we had talked a lot about the merch aspects of it or whatever, and that is part of it for sure. But it's cool to see it roll out and like, oh, then you can add your Twitch to it. So then if you join a Twitch stream, you're logged in through there, and like. There's stuff with Batty's streams now that you can do. Like if you interact with Locatron, which costs like bits, which is a Twitch currency, that adds to your shadow rank. And like if you show up to like 3 or more in a row streams, you get a special Batty emblem or whatever. I can't remember. It's like flappy bat or something. Yeah. So that's more integrated, and like I think it's just all around like. The reward is no longer. Originally we had kind of speculated that a lot of the rewards came from purchases and things like that, and it's really cool to watch it take shape to where the rewards are really for engagement with Shadowland universes overall, whether that's the Twitch streams, social media posts, whatever. It's not just a capitalist venture.
Yeah,
so neat.
Love to see that evolve and like add to it, like if there's a way to like link it to your own social media so it can track like, oh, you like shared a cool merch pic or you interacted with a post or something, and like expand on that. I think that
would definitely be cool. But for me, it's kind of like I'd hate for him to have to link it to the metaverse, but that to me would be a really cool way to rank up, is from sharing and commenting. And I noticed, I felt like, I don't know if it was just with particularly EpideM. What was it, a day or two ago when he posted for people to give their full-length reviews of EpideM comments? Kind of was like, I wonder if he's like doing something with that specific. Maybe he just wanted to see feedback. I don't know. But like if he's going through and he's kind of paying attention to names and paying attention to them with the shadow rank, that would be a ton of work for him to put on himself if he was doing that. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, if that's a way to rank up, that'd be pretty fucking sweet. And like Gage said, if you can like somehow enable your social media, that'd be pretty fucking sweet. Because I'll say this much: when it comes to sharing on Facebook, I am god awful. I try to comment because I never know what to fucking say. So at the very minimum, I'm hearting posts left and right. I will.
I'm hearting. Yeah, I'm throwing some hearts. Maybe a care. Maybe a
very
wow.
Very little do I give a like. If I gave you a like, it didn't move me as much as a love did.
Yeah.
The like is passive.
See, we got dropped our episodes. Obviously, there was a spring cleaning sale. Massive Machetes Online dropped for multiplayer, which is exciting. We still owe the world our getting hammered on camera episode. We've all had a bunch of stuff going on, so obviously, it's taken a backseat. But I've been practicing with the AI. I've been fighting the computers and won a handful of games now. So I think I'm in fighting shape, and I've also been drinking all the time. So.
Getting pre-alcoholic before, that way you can't blame it on the game.
Yeah, well, that way, I can keep my head in the game while just being completely blackout hammered. So. I think I'm training well, and that episode is coming down the pipe at some point for sure.
For sure. Just quick disclosure. I don't want to put any spotlight on me. Like, just a little personal thing. My father-in-law did pass away. I had shared that previously, so he did pass. In the process of that, Meggs and I made the decision to move into his house, and where I will be recording in future episodes is in a basement, and in that basement. My father-in-law had a full bar. So when it comes time to to do masks and machetes online, I'm going to be in arms, not quite arm's reach, but within 10, 20 feet of a full bar. And I'm telling you what, he had so much fucking liquor. We actually took like 3 crates and we're like, we're giving this away because we would never consume this much in our lifetime. And just what we've left for us is still going to last me my whole lifetime.
Jesus Christ.
When it
All right.
comes time, I mean, I'm
We're
talking,
ready.
we found 5 or 6 boxes still in the box of Crown Royal.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like,
can you
God.
sell that back, or what do you do with it?
I try to just give it away to people and hope they
you
take
know
it.
my address. I'll take some.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can shoot the address in the chat, but no, I mean,
Well, I'm looking at like this. Gage doesn't live too far. Robbie, you're getting ready to fly out this way. Come on
that's
by.
true. That's true. I'll
We'll just do
swing
masks
by.
and machetes in person.
In person,
We
maybe.
do. We should honestly, but that's some deep planning for a later date. But at least we'll do the online version for you.
We'll do a
soon.
Digital housewarming game eventually.
Yeah.
And then maybe a real one in person.
I'm trying to see what else. We got the Chaos Control 8-bit game, which we have talked about on the show. So we don't need to talk about it too much.
Dabbled with it a little bit.
So, yeah, did the INFECT Planet drop? I don't remember seeing that.
It has not. I know that there was some hiccups with, like, as you can see on the schedule, which I'm sure has been on the screen at some point now. EpideM was initially supposed to be an EP and was supposed to drop earlier than it did. They went into, hey, let's make this a full album, go crazy mode, and I think that set everything back a little bit. So,
gotcha.
As far as I know, INFECT Planet is still in the works, but yeah, I mean, I think just turning EpideM into a full-length album and getting more people involved and stuff, I think was the main priority for a minute. So I'm sure all that stuff's still coming down the pipeline at some point. But hey, I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I think that's like the only thing on the schedule that didn't quite go according to plan, but I'm sure it's still floating around. And I've actually got some thoughts on that based on the album. I'm kind of excited about it. So we'll get to that when we talk music.
Yeah,
I'm sure for sure it's in the works.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I forgot to say, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say on the music tip, but not like new music tip. The question marks we were speculating about last time. I believe what that ended up being was the Asphyxiation anniversary rollout, which was the Asphyxiation anniversary of its intended release, because as we kind of unlocked via chat with Loke and then ended up talking about on Shadowland History, it didn't actually drop in April. It was intended to drop in April and dropped in October. So it was the anniversary of Asphyxiation's original release date. But with that came a remaster, a big wall display, like a 12-inch wall display, which looks fucking incredible.
I was gonna say it was fucking sweet when I saw it.
Yeah.
That thing was so cool. I'm gonna have FOMO for never getting one of those. It was so dope.
Is that made out of wood?
I think it's made out of like the same materials that the masks are made out of.
Yeah.
Okay.
They made a mold out of it, and I think they poured latex into it.
I was gonna say I had no clue that Loke was taking woodworking classes in his downtime.
I mean, I do have the wood burned. I point up as if the audience has a fucking clue what I'm talking about. The wood burned Oracle board right in front of me. So who knows? You know, he's at least got minions that are available for woodworking. And then, I mean, that's kind of the non-music stuff. Well, there was an important mask drop that I think Gage you got involved with.
Yeah, you're right. So during the spring sale, I was curious about what the special gift was. So I went ahead and put an order in for Mortis masks. I didn't have one, and it came out really fast. We debated about our like color choices, like which ones we think would look cool. And I went with just a left field pick, and I got the pink one.
Yeah, it looks great.
Because I was thinking like, ooh, like candy bubblegum monster. And this shipped out really fast. I don't know if their mask guy has like blanks just at the go or what. But yeah, I put an order for this. I also got the brown arachnid, but that's kind of an older drop.
Nice.
And then the bonus was a shadow mask. So I got, which I don't have on me, but it was a shadow, atrocity mask, so that was pretty cool. But the detail on this thing is so crazy. I really recommend, if you are on the fence about your next mask, get one of these, because I just like to just look at it with all the details, and I think it's one of the ones where just any color just rules.
Yeah, I mean, I got the silver that we talked about in the unboxing for the mystery box, but I mean, looking at that, like, I might need to get more of them,
Yeah.
which is crazy to say for a single mask design, but I'm like, yeah, this silver's cool, but that pink's looking pretty fucking good, and the purple and the green that I got online, I mean, whew, they all are beautiful masks, crazy sculpt. Seeing the paint job on that, in the behind the scenes video on the circle, I don't know if you guys watched that, really cool to see how they do it, where they basically paint the whole thing red and then go over the whole thing in black and then kind of like wash off the parts that don't need the black. It's a cool technique I had no idea about.
Yeah, I always wondered how they painted those, and I think that's one of my favorite things about the circle is getting the like mask painting.
Yeah,
behind the scenes, like the production stuff is so cool.
Very cool.
Loving that shit. And then, I mean, outside of that, are you guys ready to talk about some fucking tunes?
Let's jam. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Talk about it.
Let's talk about it. We want to start with what? Probably the remixes of 001. I think that came out.
I think we should go chronologue. So, yeah, first thing that dropped was Neon Sermon 001 remixes, which sounds crazy to say out loud.
Yeah.
Gage has the Circle special edition there, which you can only purchase if you're a Circle member. There was a version for there was a Circle exclusive version of both that and Epidemic, which is neat.
Yeah.
I might say, if you had the Oddworld release of the original 001, I mean, you had to have that one to match. So
yeah, the red edition, basically.
Yeah. It's like bloody, where it's like slimy normally.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Very cool. So as far as this album goes, it was all production by Loki himself, I do believe. And there's some fun. The original has a bunch of lines calling out the original producer, which got rewritten and redone. Really fun.
Yeah.
In this new one. But this was like a fun way to kind of inject some more excitement and rejuvenate this album, because I listened to the original so damn much that I don't want to say I got burned out on it, but like I've heard it so many times, and having the remixes got me excited. But mostly, I hope this means we're heading down. Oh, DC.
We lose DC?
what just happened?
I don't know.
He disappeared. He's been consumed by Shadowland.
Yeah, it's just blackness.
Yeah.
Well, say he's gone, but you're like weird and glitchy voices.
Oh wait, we're gone? It's gonna be funny because Gage's gonna be mid-sentence, and then you're gonna come back with headphones on.
Or teleport.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. So Loki did all the production on this one, and it mostly has me excited and hoping that there's more on this, more Neon Sermon in the work with Loki production, because I've heard these songs so many times, and I'm excited for more Neon Sermon content. This rules, but I'm hungry for more on top of that.
You want more vocals, is what you're saying. Some new
Exactly.
songs. Yeah, I agree. I do love this, though. I think I have listened to this a bunch since it came out, and I think similar to what you were saying, I not to say I burned myself out on it, because I took a long break, but I hadn't heard these songs in a minute, and I had played it so much when it first came out that hearing these new versions, it felt new again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is like I think my one holdback from the original Neon Sermon record was that some of the production sounded a little dated in a way. Just I think some of what Seven was doing with the EDM stuff was not 2020s EDM sounds necessarily, and I think a lot of what Loke did with the remixes gave it that extra kick that I think I was missing, and the extra it's just really high energy. Like I said when we talked about the Chaos edition of Algorithm, that it was like driving fast music. This is similarly driving fast music, and that I'm like loving the drum and bass stuff. Like I think that hits a really sweet spot that feels both old and new. Like there's like drum and bass is kind of back in a way. Like even someone like Pink Pantherist and people like that are like pulling from it a little bit. And then, but it's also like very reminiscent of like 90s Prodigy, that kind of vibes. So then it's very new for this scene and for low key and for the Shadowland stuff. So it's really cool to see that, and if that is the direction to go for a follow up for a 002 perchance, I would be super stoked.
Yeah, he did something too with these remixes that I can't place what, but there's like this sound effect that's in there that's very alien. It's like ooh, ooh. It kind of like, it sounds like something I've heard in a video game, but I don't know where.
It might be the same thing I'm thinking of that almost sounds like a Korn sample at times, where it's like some of the effects they had on their guitars that are like high pitched and kind of wavering or whatever. I don't know if it is an actual sample of that or if it's just some kind of effect, but that's the vibe it gave me. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I was like, that's a cool effect.
The remixes feel more alien.
Yeah. More alien and less EDM, yeah, like you guys were saying. Which
and Loki,
it for me, it reinforced me wanting like fuck 7. Loki just produced 002.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, like if it was I think there's like 2 tracks missing from the original on the remix EP.
That's probably the one thing I don't like about the remix is that it's not the full album. I was like, when I seen that it was missing, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, if it was the full thing, it like literally might replace the original for me, because like I'm missing those 2 songs, but I love what he did with the remixes on that. Or like the Algorithm remix, I need both. I can't just, the Chaos Edition is not replacing the original for me because they're both very unique and different. The Neon Sermon remixes might like replace those tracks for me a little bit because it's just a really fun listen, and and they both are. But like I said, I've played the first one a ton, so hearing them in a new way really like gave me that kick in the ass to be excited about Neon Sermon again. Yeah, those are that drop was great. Really excited for it. Sounds like, and we'll get to that in the future of this episode, not like the distant future, but hearing Crux on Epidemic makes me realize that new Neon Sermon is maybe not as far away as I thought it was. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this is all going. If we get this low key production, get everyone back in the spaceship to make a new record, I would be very, very stoked on that.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Yeah. I think next on our list is the Delilah Graves single, right? Evil Eyes.
Yeah. Which,
admittedly, I did not listen to until today for the first time.
Oh, really?
I am not a singles guy. I'm all about them albums. So I knew it was there. It was just never went and looked it up, never listened to it. And then I realized I don't even think I had listened to Jack-o'-lanterns until today as well. So I would love for that to lead to a project of some kind, even if it's just like a little maybe 5-track EP. Not knowing what it is kind of got me excited and eager to get more. But I really liked Evil Eyes. I thought it was a great track, and it was another one of those songs that when I heard it, I was like, this would hit on the radio or TikTok. I know TikTok's like the new,
I could see TikTok hitting
platinum or whatever, or how you chart these days is through TikTok. I could see that hitting well with a lot of TikTokers. I don't have the lyrics all down now, but who says you can't love your demons, I think, is one of the lines in there. It's like, I could see people like using that for some kind of a TikTok video.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I really, really like this song. It's definitely the most like pop Batty Bat thing I think we've got overall. And I'm a pop boy. I've been spending my whole week listening to fucking Prince and Madonna. So like, the more that we get, I'm not mad at all.
Yeah, you've been saying what you've been listening to, and I'm like, you are all over the place, and I love it.
All over the place, yeah. You can't pin me down. But that's what makes Shadowland Universe so fun, is that it's like, we were just talking about fucking EDM and like drum and bass, and now we're talking about like pop-based stuff, and we're later going to talk, like, that's what I love about the Shadowland Universe's world, is that I am a very all over the place music listener, and like they hit all those spots in different ways, which I think is fantastic.
They're not really pigeonholed to one genre. They're just all over the place.
Totally.
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I never thought that I would have a pop girly Batty Bat song, but here we are, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, 100%. And I want more. I'm very curious what the long tail this is, because like DC, you said like you're not a single. This guy's so married he won't even listen to a single.
That's right. Yeah.
But you said you hadn't even heard it until today when we're recording this, and I'm curious because of the nature of it being just like a couple singles kind of sporadically dropped over the course of the year, if there's a lot of people who aren't really up on it. And it is like a very cool thing that I think as it develops, hopefully people start catching on and get on board, because like if there was an EP or an album or anything, I'm still pulling for there to be some kind of like picture book or cartoon or something with this.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because
coloring book would be cool.
Coloring book would be cool. Yeah, something they could drop like an EP with different the single covers as different pages, or I don't know, something. But like there's a lot of room for a character-based project to evolve, I think, and I would love to see where that went more in that genre style, and then with different artwork and stuff. Like I'm not always gonna buy a t-shirt just because I got a fucking huge pile of them, but like with a character like this, there's a lot of room for unique opportunities, and I think that is exciting to ponder on.
For sure.
Yeah, I also like light on buying shirts, but they released one with this single I was a big fan of. I like the aesthetics as well as the music of the character.
Yeah, I really like this shirt. I like just the design's really cool. Like the design of the character and the way everything looks, as well as just the design of the actual shirts and stuff, like the hoodies. There's just it's a cool way to have Batty Bat merch, but in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes me lean towards that coloring book, because I feel like the art is kind of in tandem to these releases with the shirts.
Totally.
So getting a coloring book would be pretty fucking sweet.
I'd totally get a coloring book. I got little kids. I'd love to draw in a Bat coloring book with my kids.
Well, and part of what also triggered that for me is the art for Evil Eyes has that, like, I'm just going to call it anime lightning, because that's kind of what I know it from. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z nerd. So like when they would go Super Saiyan 2, they have that lightning. That's kind of what it made me think of. So anime, and I think coloring. So.
And that's something that's doable, I feel like. Whereas, like, in my fucking big picture brain, I'm like, let's get the cartoon of Delilah. And I'm like, who's making that? Like, if we're not just running it through AI, like, it's an animator, script writer, I mean, we could do a comic or a comic or a coloring book. That was what he said. Like, that's feasible. So, yeah, something like that would be really cool.
For sure.
Pop a CD in the back of that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah.
One last note, I caught one of Batty's recent gaming streams, and she was saying on it that in the last month or so, she had been like fully reinvigorated for making music for the first time in quite a while, like really inspired. I think she'd had some writer's block or something, and she was feeling really like, let's fucking go. So whether it's Delilah Graves, Batty Bat, by name, or algorithm or whatever, like, love to hear that there's new Batty on the horizon.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I was listening to Fall from Grace the other day, and I was like, man, what a great album. I need more of that.
100%. And then, I mean, unless we got any more Graves thoughts, we got the big boy.
We got the big boys, yeah. I mean,
yeah, fucking EpideM.
Oh, we got that.
That's asphyxiation, but yeah, there we go. EpideM, yeah. Mission INFECT, how about that?
Mission INFECT overall, yeah. Gage, the only one that has the physicals yet. Mine is coming.
Yeah, I got super lucky that they kind of shipped out pretty quickly. And I also got, there's some like merch bundles too. I went pretty basic. There was these little glow-in-the-dark Contagion vials.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Is it like
glows in the dark, right?
Yeah, cup your hands a little bit. Does it like, can you see it on camera at all?
Kind of.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. but it glows in the dark, and it's just a cool little prop. It's solid. It's not like a herd ball or anything.
Oh, it's not like plastic.
Yeah, it's glass. It came like bubble wrapped all up and stuff. The liquid kind of moves around in there a little bit, but that was super cool.
Which is crazy because that just feels so Neon Sermon coated.
Yeah, it does.
Fucking ooze.
Yeah, but what's cool is spoilers if you don't want to know what the back of the album looks like, I guess, but it's right there.
Whoa, spoiled.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's sick. So that's the contagion, the virus, the epidemic is like. I like that that's built into the thing. I also like that. I mean, we've seen the Mission Infect, gas masks and stuff so much, but like this is the retail Neon Sermon mask, which I think is a really cool touch.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one of those masks yet, but I think I'm probably going to end up getting the Epidemic one. I really like Asphyxiation as an album, so I was tempted to get that, but because it is the Epidemic mask on the cover, I might go with that.
Yeah, that feels right. Just with it feels like the mask is made to coincide with this album, and then you can also with the other versions. Yeah. So I'm getting the I ordered the fucking the big boy Contagion bundle or whatever. So I'm waiting on that stuff. But yeah, that seeing that back cover makes me honestly more excited for it because I'm like, oh, it's the guy from the thing.
Yeah,
I'm dumb and easy is what I'm saying. So
the
picture is the thing that I own. That's cool.
Anytime there's a mask with like masks are kind of the thing now. Anytime there's like a mask that goes with a specific album, I'm way more likely to get that than some special version like the Let's Get Violent one. Yeah. I got to get the Let's Get Violent version. I'm kicking myself. I never got the American Monster mask because I don't think it was available anymore. But
when it's like a prop that ties into the lore of the album, it's
exactly,
that's a relic you feel like you have to have.
Yeah,
and so kind of like me having that amazing Jekyll Brothers candle, it's like it feels like it's a relic of the album.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what's cool about this. I got it because I couldn't get the whole bundle, but I'm like, that's a fun little thing. And then seeing it on the album, I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Which is funny because looking at the Contagion edition mask and then seeing the back cover and seeing the vial, so I was like, it almost looks like whoever the model for that mask was just kind of splashing it on their face a little bit.
Did you see the masks are done in the behind the scenes, and it just looks like somebody just like spilled it all over their face.
They're gonna be infected for you. No, they're gonna be very infected. I gotta think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see all that stuff in person, and maybe I'll do a little show and tell on the next one whenever that arrives. But would you guys think the album was good or bad?
I thought the album was great.
I just like merch.
You just like merch? Oh, I got lights falling on me. Holy shit! Hold on.
So blown away.
Yeah, no. I was being facetious. The album rules.
Oh, it's so fucking good. It's early to tell, but it might end up being my favorite. I like it a lot.
So that's
I think so. Yeah, I mean we talked about Asphyxiation a lot last time, which is fitting since it got the re-release. I kind of like that they came out together because Asphyxiation is like not a concept album, but it has the most theming on it, and Epidemic kind of also has like conceptual elements that kind of ties it together more than most Mission Infect albums do.
Yeah, I would say Epidemic definitely feels like by far the most themed and a conceptual Mission Infect project. But Asphyxiation, while not being one theme, like it's got the most like story songs and like themed songs as opposed to just like cypher raps, like posse cut kind of stuff. So they do make sense in tandem together for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start with getting into the record, but it was originally sold as an EP, billed as an EP when they put it on the schedule. Ended up taking a little extra time, turning it into an LP. We got 11 tracks. Is that correct?
11 tracks.
Right,
Yep.
And I mean, we got pretty much all your favorite Infect guys. DC, I know you were a little bummed to see a lack of Gruesome on here.
Yeah, and I mean, we can dive right into that if you want.
Sure.
Because that's one of the things it felt to me like something was missing, which is Gruesome. The big one for me was on the Call to Arms. That one, it for me was very nostalgic to the track that Loki and Gruesome had on Gruesome's Locker. It had Dubs on the hook. In the song, both Dubs and Loki referenced 84. Now, on the most recent Gruesome album, Relic, he has a song on there. The chorus is crazy 80s baby, yeah, born in 1984, feeling like a relic for a long, long time. Like, he talks about being born in 84. So both Loke and Dubs like referencing 84. I'm like, this was perfect for Gruesome. I'm missing Gruesome. But ultimately the trade-off of Dubs in this was that was not what I was expecting. That was not on my bingo card, because he dropped Unshadowed in 2022 and just like pieced out for a little bit. You know, we had it kind of confirmed to us in other albums that came out from other artists that he was like, I'm going to paraphrase, basically retired, if you will, semi-retired.
Or so like on hiatus, at least.
Like sabbatical, right? Is wording. So yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I was just like, okay, I'm missing Gruesome, but the trade-off for Dubs, I will take it, because I've been hungry for Dub. Just because Dubs is fucking dope. I mean, Unshadowed is an amazing album, and you know that was kind of like his magnum opus. I'm out in peace, y'all. So having him back feels great.
Totally. And I do like, there are core guys that you kind of always expect or don't, but like I do kind of like, in doing these Shadowland history episodes about the 3 original Mission Infect records, one thing that became very clear in talking to specifically Low-Key and Bad Luck about it was that kind of the only consistent thing about Mission Infect was A, those two, and B, inconsistency. And that like phase 1 and 2 come out, and then okay, great, now let's do another record. Here's a bunch more guys. Okay, great, here's another record. Some of those guys are gone, and there's other new guys. And it's like, you know, I think like Gruesome was heavy on Armageddon and then isn't here at all. Yes. And that similarly was on, you know, like one of the core guys on the original stuff, and then by the time you get to Asphyxiation, it's like he was never there. You know what I mean? So like he's always been a little in and out in that way, but I do like that gives each album such character of its own, where like this to me feels like the Low-Key and Dubs record. Or, you know what I mean? Like this is the most those guys have been concentrated in one spot ever. Yeah. So like that's a really cool character for it. A lot of Malaria on here, which I think is like he really consistently crushes it on his verses. He was the guy outside of Low-Key and Dubs that really I was like, damn, Malaria brought heat to this record.
Yeah,
so that's
he was on fire. He popped up.
Yeah, so like I originally had a similar feeling where I was like, it'd be cool if Gruesome was on some of these, and then I was like, but also I don't really care, because I like that's what this record is, you know, which I think is a neat thing. lost steam hard there. It's a neat way to have these records go, and that each one has such a specific vibe and character to it.
Yeah, I think that's what's cool about this Epidemic too, is because of the roster being so unique, it feels very different from the other albums, including 2 new members with Crux coming back, which awesome to hear more from him. We don't get a lot of that. Yeah. I want more from him. Like if he ever comes back and does like his own solo stuff, I'll definitely follow that. And then
it just really felt appropriate too. Not to jump in, but Crux one joining felt appropriate because the shout out he gave me on Neon Sermon, he was referencing Mission Infect.
Yeah.
So like, seeing him here now felt right.
Yeah.
Am I blowing smoke? Somebody get this human gas mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Crux just feels perfect for Mission Infect. Like his vibe, his like cadences, just the way he raps, his tone of voice, all of it is just like, oh yeah, this guy like fits with these other dudes super, super well. So
yeah,
happy to hear it.
And then we talked about her a little bit with the Bullets and Spray Paint single, with Viafon joining the mix of stuff. That always came off not as weird, but like, oh, okay, that's cool. But then having it in the context of the album like legitimizes her. She like out raps most of these guys on this album. She fucking rules. Totally. So I hope that in general, we also got more of this coming soon in the future.
Yeah.
But I want to hear her and Crux in the mix even more next time if that's something that can be done.
Which is one of the notes that I have about this album. This album had me going through this weird whiplash of like, it feels like the last. Everything from the album cover being so standoutish from all the other albums, the closing track talking about bringing us closure, to the sign off at the end where comms are going dark, which I get is just kind of like a whole gimmick / concept to Mission Infect, like the comms are going dark, we'll be back. There was just such a huge vibe of like, is this the end? Like, this feels like this album also gave us that it's building to something all the way down to the skit with Mr. Gray.
Yeah.
Felt like that's alluding to more. So there were elements where I was just like, throughout it, I'm like, this almost feels like they're giving us one last hurrah, but it's like, it doesn't feel like it's the last hurrah. It's like, hey, we're starting over and this is where we're going to go now. So it was definitely a little bit of a weird thing for that for me. But yeah, like you're saying, Gage, hopeful for more, because it feels like that's what we're getting. And I just, before we hopped on to record this, seen Loki's post talking about the album, and he, again, I'm going to paraphrase, said something about we are far from over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that for me was that moment like, okay, I have this clarity, but it's in my notes. I wanted to brush on it here. So him saying that they're far from over is like, okay, I can rest easy. Really kind of listening to, I listened to Armageddon and Epidemic kind of back to back because they're the most recent two albums. And Armageddon feels really energized. It was very like, we are back energy. And I think that was kind of what Epidemic was going to originally follow up when they did like the relaunch, and it kind of fizzled out. So I think that element kind of stayed in the back of my mind too, as well with this project. So I like Epidemic. I can say though, it's not my new favorite. I don't think it would be my new favorite. I think because when I compare it to Armageddon and that like we're back energy, that's kind of where it left me with Epidemic, was like, that was supposed to catapult off of that momentum and it didn't. But here it is in this shape and this form. And I think what that's going to do is whatever Mission Infect does next will be the real big kind of springboard. So I think Epidemic will serve like this nice bridge between Armageddon and into the next one. And thematically, they feel like they go together. You know, Armageddon, this big Epidemic is the Armageddon kind of thing.
Yeah. And like, I think what you touched on about starting over, I mean, the song is literally called Starting Over, but like, that is the vibe I pick up the most on this record. Whereas like Armageddon was very, here are the core guys. I mean, you know, the majority of the record, the only really consistent dudes on there are Loke, Bad Luck, and Gruesome, and it's like that original core group. And then this feels so looking forward to me that like it feels like, oh, Mission Infect is a classic thing, but this is the new version of them, where now, you know, Dubs is all over it, which he was on 3 and 4 as well, but like he's very integral here. You got Crux and Fia Fawn as new members, and like it just feels like similar to what we talked about with the sketches, or you know, the skits and the theming and all that kind of stuff. That's such a new energy for Mission Infect that it almost feels like if they do keep the momentum, we're going into almost like a new, like a plot, which, you know, historically has not been a Mission Infect thing. You know, the gimmick, the plot, the whatever was always just like, here's rappers. And now it's like, here's rappers, but there's like a mission outside of the initial mission, which is to infect. But, you know, we got a mission. There's an epidemic, contagion. Mr. Gray is involved. You know, he's got secret clues to unveil, which I'm curious if we need to be diving into that deeper, because for the people that weren't paying super close attention in 2024 when we were doing the initial, you know, when the epidemic was announced and the street teaming was going on, Mr. Gray was sending out letters to people. I got a letter in the mail from Mr. Gray saying, you know, who are you working for? What's the plan of it? You know, like, what are your intentions, kind of stuff. And like that clue, or the voice that you hear on the record that says like, what are you looking for, or something like that, or like, you think you've got the first clue, you're not even there yet, or whatever. That was connected. It was like an MP3, I think, that ended up getting sent to somebody, or a phone number. Or I can't remember the specifics. It was a couple years ago, but like that stuff was kind of roped into that 2024 era when we were going to go in this direction. So I'm curious how much of that is like left over from that and sounds cool and is like, oh, like this is cool stuff to put on a record. Why throw it away? Or if there's any like secret in there that we haven't caught yet that is like leading us to the future. I'm not sure, but it's really cool stuff to add into Mission Infect that wasn't quite there before. It was there behind the scenes, never on record. And so if we're gonna jump into a new era with these new people, with this new theming and kind of conceptual stuff, I'm on board because that sounds sick.
Yeah, almost has a story to it, which it's funny that you brought that up because I'm just going to kind of put him on blast. The homie Roan texted me. He's like, is Mr. Gray, like this is before he listened to the record. He's like, is Mr. Gray joining Mission Effect? I was like, no. And I explained to him who Mr. Gray was.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I don't remember that. So yeah. Very, very good point to point out that this was previous stuff because I remember that during the Discord days.
It was a whole interactive ARG thing that was pretty big at the time that kind of fell apart with the closing that chapter down.
Yeah. But I mean, the chapter that closed down was, you know, Epidemic and all Mr. Gray, and so is it reopened? Are we playing again? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
There were like Facebook like messenger groups that were happening when the Discord thing was happening, the online website was going on. As soon as the album released, that fired back up, and people were like, "It's back on. What's going on?" So I think that's super dope.
Yeah. I forget that there's crossover, especially with Cabal. Not Mr. Gray, the guy from Guerrilla Voltage. Mr.
Gray, a character that has been part of Mission Effect since the late 2000s. I think it was around Asphyxiation that stuff started originally. So yeah,
that sounds right.
Not anything to do with Guerrilla Voltage at all. So. But that is confusing. I forget that that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, great asterisk to put on that. Thank you, DC.
Yes. Yeah,
for sure.
But
you found the shape I left behind. I told you all of this in 2007. Remember me, the ones who were here. Remember, I was the static between the verses. 20 years you've been looking, and you didn't even know it. 20 years I've been looking back. Listen close. The signal is thinning. It's been connected all along. What you think is riddles is foreshadowing what I've known all along. You'll know soon too. This whole time you've been trying to figure out who I am. Did you ever stop to ask who you are? Who you really are? Don't look for my face. I'm wearing yours. We went dark because we needed to let those whose hearts were impure move away. Did you see the pattern? I saw it. If you're hearing this, you've survived the filtering. Stay tuned. Now the real fun begins. I did it.
The only other note that I have for EpideM is just kind of shouting out Mad Max for dropping one of the most savage bars I think I've ever heard on a rap. On Body Drop, he said, "What do you say? Something thumping, leave him jump, or like Twin Tower jumpers."
Oh,
Yeah.
I butchered the fuck out of that, but
But I know what you're talking about.
when he said that, like Twin Towers jumpers, I was like, "Oh, he went he went there."
there's a lot of good lines all over this album.
That was savage.
Yeah, I love Mad Max when he pops up. Yeah, he's got crazy lines. Loki has one of my favorite. I mean, we could just talk about individual songs at this point, but we all agree that like Call to Arms is like one of the best like rap performances Loki's ever done, right? Like,
Yeah.
that song.
Yeah, Call to Arms is I don't know, just such a standout in the history of all of this stuff. Like, there's not been a track like that as good as that in a Loki record or a Mission Effect record. I think I can ever think of like a just back and forth rapper shit. Like, I don't know,
That
Crush.
fire ass boom bap bass line.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Beats
Oh my god.
on this album and the production is just so fucking amazing. It feels old school, but like new and modern and fresh.
Yeah.
But the line that just made me go like, holy fucking shit, was the underground thinks I only sell merch, but truth is all your favorites will get murked. Does it hurt knowing all you do is clap for clout coins and cheer with no soul like sitcom crowd noise?
Yeah. That sitcom crowd noise got me. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that's a very cool image.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like that's something that I just love about Loke and Mission Effect in general is the mission statement of just like stepping in, looking around, be like, you guys all are so fucking lame. Pull it and then leave. Like,
He channeled some love into that bar.
Yeah, for sure. There's
Yeah,
definitely some holdover. I
yeah,
remember, and earlier this year he had posted a thing that we had kind of discussed. What I think before this was announced, really, or before we knew the scale of what it was going to be, where he said, you know, that he had kind of promised Jackie O Beats 5 it felt more like Making Love 2, and I think this feels like where some of that energy went, where he was just ready to talk some shit to the scene, and never mad at that, never mad at hearing some low-key shit talking.
it's my favorite.
Yep.
Yeah.
It gets me energized and hype.
Yeah, I mean, what else you got for faves?
I want to shout out the incoming transmission having the callback to Follow Me.
Yeah.
But EpideM is coming while you're screaming and running, which is a line from As the World Falls Down, and I was like, holy shit, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I was on a plane actually the week or two before the album dropped, and I was kind of I was flying from Philly back to Portland, and I was listening to a bunch of old low-key stuff, like early stuff up through, you know, like Solo, and I got to that track, and it was, I think, the night that the first single from this dropped. So when they were so we didn't go into this at all, but the way this album rolled out was that there was individual tracks dropped every night for a few days on the Circle. So it started with Throw 'Em Up Part 2, Bring the Noise, Body Drop. Maybe Contagion was one of them. It's all a blur now.
Yeah.
But it was the night that Throw 'Em Up Part 2 dropped, and I was like, EpideM's coming, we're getting this record, blah, blah. And so then I listened to the old stuff on my flight and heard that EpideM was coming. I was like, oh, that's like the new thing. That's crazy. And then when the album dropped, I was like, oh, that's like the old thing. It's even crazier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that popped me super hard. There's a couple little moments where I was like, there's a song that has, I can't remember right now, but I was noticing my listens today that has both Loke and Mad Max on it. And there was a couple little turns of phrase or like vocal things where I was like, damn, that sounds really old. Like it sounds like very like Follow Me-ish in a little bit of the cadence and stuff. So cool that that's all in the soup, you know, and all kind of like bubble into the surface a little bit.
Yeah, years later, and they still kind of can tap into that like old school vibe.
Yeah. And just that would be on Loke's mind to be like, the album's called EpideM. Here's a thing I said about EpideM 20 years ago, you know, but very cool.
Well, and that's one of the other notes that I had was that the album, everyone just feels very comfortable, kind of like in a legendary status. Like they're comfortable going into their zone because they're just legends. They've been doing it for so long that coming on here and doing it, they just felt comfortable making those callbacks. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do, we touched on the production, but like it's such a unique blend that I really like. And another thing that I've thought about just from doing those, Mission Effect Shadowland histories is the production specifically, and it'll be like the really militant, like hip hop sound on those first couple records, and then like Asphyxiation's a little darker, a little more horrorcore. This one is like very, like you said, like boom bap, hip hop, like East Coast 90s style, and then mixed with some like modern electronic elements that I think are really cool, and something like Blackout and a couple other tracks where it's just like they don't sound super at odds with each other. They work really well in tandem, which is surprising kind of because they're very disparate sides of what you can do in hip hop, but they work together just, I guess, through having the same rappers on them. Obviously Loke knows what he's doing with executive producing a record, so it comes together seamlessly, but it is like a pretty different batch of songs kind of all mixed together in a way that feels cohesive, which is great. Kudos.
Yeah. And like even the two singles that came up before this that like may not have even been meant for this album are on here, and it all just kind of goes together really well.
Totally. We were talking about how like Blackout and Bullets and Spray Paint both felt so random when they dropped the singles, and then hearing them in this context, it's like, oh yeah, they fit perfectly. They make perfect sense.
It's awesome.
Yeah, which I feel like wasn't Epidemic name dropped in Blackout. I could have swore. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
It might have been. I mean, it was originally, and like it came out as a single, I think, because it was originally recorded for the version of the record that was going to be out in 2024.
Yeah,
and then just held, back at the time, but then was released as a single because I think Loke was just like, "This is a good song. I might as well drop it." And then when the record was getting out, put back together, it was like,
okay,
obviously it goes on here. So yeah.
I would say the one with Fiafon, the Bullets and Spray Paint, for sure felt the most random when it dropped last year because it was branded Mission Infect, and I was like, this when it dropped, it didn't feel necessarily Mission Infect to me.
Yeah.
But then having it here, it does.
Totally. And man, it is crazy. Get a lot of different responses. Like I've talked about this record on like Do It for the Underground and read the chat, during the premiere and stuff, and just seen some comments pop up here and there. Divisive, that Fiafon verse. I think people just hate women.
We can blame Blase Rose, I think, for that.
Maybe, yeah. For all misogyny? Wow, that's crazy. But
no, just specifically in this
when it comes to rappers in the scene,
right.
But very like people were in the comments like, oh, the one thing I don't like is that British lady. I was like, she's not even British. But then I think Keegan Grimm got in the chat and was like, no, if you look at the cadence and like the timing and like the what stuff she's doing with the flow, like this lady is a very good rapper. You're just not hearing it because you hear woman and turn your ears off. But she crushed it, and I want a bunch more of her on whatever's upcoming because I want it's such a. I think what someone said was that it doesn't fit, which I understand what they're saying, but I couldn't disagree more. And that yes, if you have an album full of aggressive dudes rapping, and then you get this kind of slick. I can't think of the right way to really describe the flow, but it's very playful. When you get that with a bouncy Australian woman's voice doing this fun playful verse that has a lot of swag to it, I could see being that does sound different than this, but it sounds cool. So go fuck yourself.
It's a breath of fresh air in the middle of the album.
I feel like if you sandwich her between a Loke and Bad Luck verse, that sounds so fucking sick.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love too is the way that the track list was put together. One of the things I think about when I'm reviewing music is the process of deciding what tracks go where. Call to Arms leads off with Dub saying bringing new Mission Infection. It goes right into this song, with somebody I think all three of us never heard of Theophon. So that was some really brand new shit, and I love the way that the album does that with Call to Arms ending off with like that.
Yeah, totally. And the pacing is a really good point. Like, even into the Mr. Gray stuff we were talking about, like that kind of pops up. You know, we kind of get the scene set that there is more going on here than your average, you know, like just posse cuts Mission Infect record on incoming transition. But then that message from Gray comes up towards the end and then goes right into Contagion, and it like, I think that's very tastefully done, where it's not like beating you over the head the whole time with a theme. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, there's a theme in the intro, and then there's just some bangers, and then they're like bring it back to kind of lead into the end of the album with that. I think that's a very cool, like, well done thing that I don't even know if it's just using what they had, or it's like, hey, here's some of the scraps of stuff we had in 2024. We're going to work it into this, and it makes the most sense to kind of put it all together at the end, or what. But the way it is there makes the album flow really well and feel cohesive, and like it has a beginning, middle, and an end. In a way that this very easily could not have. You know, like getting I mean, every Mission Infect record is a little bit of a miracle that it sounds like a record and not just like a compilation of rappers. You know what I mean? So the fact that it even has like some cohesion in the theming and all that, like, is an extra cherry on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to, I mean, Loki's skill as producing, arranging, and putting things together.
Yeah. And I mean, we got anything else? We didn't really. We talked a good deal about that record.
This is Mission Infect Soldier Codename Wasteland Waldo reporting to you. EpideM went live early before any streaming platform was able to interfere with it and broadcast it to the masses. Only Mission Infect soldiers were given special access to an important website where the music of the EpideM album would be available to you to be played with a special visualizer, where each Mission Infect general had a talking head type thing. Each time one of their verses would be live and playing, their faces would come up on the screen as the music played. It was very cool and very awesome. We forgot to let you know, if you still want to listen to the music with a cool visualizer, go check out the EpideM website. Listen to EpideM, subscribe to Shadowland Universes, and if you're listening to this, and if you catch this transmission, it's too late. You've already been infected.
Yeah.
Good. I think that pretty well covers it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's a banger. Like I said, I mean, it's early to tell, and I like what DC was saying about how this is like a good, like, where does it go from here moment, and I think that might, like, determine, because I said early to tell, but I like this album a lot. It could be my favorite in the long term. What happens after this could, like, solidify that.
I don't want to do this to EpideM, but I'm gonna do this, and I know a lot of people maybe scream at me for it. EpideM kind of feels like the era of ICP's career when The Calm came out, and we got this album that kind of put forth a story that left us hanging for when The Tempest finally came. That's kind of what EpideM feels a little bit like to me. We're getting a little bit of a story, and there's this sense of like, okay, so what's coming then? What's next?
And for the people screaming at home, you mean in the theming and rollout, not in the quality, because I know those are very divisive albums.
The very theme-wise, yes. Theme story, not so much the album, which I like the album.
I'm not mad at either of those records necessarily, but I know a lot of people are. So what you're saying is in the storytelling there, not necessarily
in the presentation of the album, this feels like The Calm.
Yeah, and I also like those albums, but we all know if you mention that you even acknowledge those albums exist, people will act like you just killed their mom.
Maybe that's what we got to do to get some fucking interaction with this show. Start just giving hot takes, just like, you know what, Tempest better than Riddlebox or something, and not even related to Shadowland at all.
Yeah,
but just get some comments going, boys.
I mean, that's how you get the clout coins.
Yeah.
First of all, I hope everybody's enjoyed Robbie part of this podcast. He is now banished for that hot take, even if it was just a hypothetical.
That's an example. It's definitely not my
bad example.
Loke might put you in that mirror that you're trapped in forever.
That's fine. You know what? Sounds fun.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, speaking of Mission Effect, we've talked all about this new record. They got a bunch of other material for 20 years. We did a little something, a little thought exercise. We made a playlist we each picked 3 songs from every Mission Effect record, including the new one. And we're gonna link that for y'all in the description. But how did that feel to put that together? Any thoughts or reactions?
Yeah, so I think I kind of pitched the idea. I thought it'd be fun, like, what if we, since this is kind of a fun, exciting time to be a Mission Effect fan, what all is our favorite stuff? Because I always like, hey, what are our favorite tracks from this album? And then I was like, what are our favorite tracks from all of them? So we all went and picked one, and then if there was overlap, the next guy had to pick a next one. And for the record, we all immediately jumped on Call to Arms for EpideM.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I think we ended up with good stuff, though. I think what we ended up picking is good.
But for me, I just went through. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my favorite. Oh, that's my favorite. I just went off gut feeling, and I listened to our playlist today, and I think it's a pretty good little sampling of all the albums. It sounds pretty good.
Hell yeah, it's about an hour and a half. So I mean, it is 3 songs from however many albums, 24 tracks. You do the math on that. I don't get paid to. I think there was my surprising factor was how little overlap and argument there was, because there was almost nothing. We all picked Call to Arms, or had that in our heads to pick. DC beat us to it, but I think outside of that, I think DC sent his list first, and then I might have picked mine second, and there was nothing he picked that I was like, fuck, I gotta rethink everything. And then you said I didn't, neither of us really picked anything you were sitting on, so I think that's really telling of how strong the catalog is, that it wasn't like, oh, obviously we all wanted the truth, which I thought we all were gonna of course want the truth, and I was alone in that, so I don't know.
It worked out. I
just really Stab You. That beat goes way too fucking hard.
And that is Stab You and Big Bad Wolf were the 2 that I was like, darn, but I'm just happy they're on the playlist. Otherwise, we all picked totally different stuff.
I struggled with that one because I was like, what off of Phase 3 do I like the most? And that, my intention was, I'm picking my favorite song from every album. So it's like, I really like Big Bad Wolf. I know I praised The March in the last episode, but Big Bad Wolf goes way too fucking good.
3, I think, was the one. Phase 3 was the one that I had the hardest time with, because there was a few songs I could have gone with. I ended up going with Throwback. I realized in my choices that I lean towards a chill, thoughtful closer. There's a lot of mine that were like, oh yeah, this is the song where they're saying some real shit, wrapping it up. The beat's a little laid back. That beat, I've always been a big fan of. I'm not gonna put anyone in legal hot water, but if you know where that it originates from, it was a surprising choice for me when I heard it on a Mission Effect record. But yeah, big fan of that. I almost went with Walk of Shame when I did
second pick.
When I talked to Mad Max for the Extermination, too many of these fucking titles, man. They all have 3 syllables. Or 4. Well, listen, I'm not here to count. It's not what I get paid for. But when I talked to...
We don't do language.
When I talked to Mad Max about Extermination, he brought that song up a bunch. And so it was already a favorite. And then that kind of extra put it in my head of like, oh yeah, this is an important one. But then, I don't know, Throwback, I just couldn't resist.
It's a good one. And speaking of Mad Max, Extermination was also one hard to pick one, because he's all over that and he slays everything he says on that album.
Truly.
Yeah.
Max on that record is some of, and not that I'm just here to plug Shadowland history, but there's a lot of conversation about these things with the guys that did them, but low-key says it on there that those might be the hardest bars anyone's dropped in Mission Infect history, from Mad Max on Extermination, and I can't disagree with him. Like, Max kills that. Yeah.
I'd say EpideM has some that match it or come close, but yeah, Max destroyed that fucking album.
Yeah. So check that out. Listen to our playlist. See, let us know what your favorites are that we didn't put on the list.
Yeah.
What is something we didn't say about Epidemic that you want to say about Epidemic? Drop that in the comments.
Yeah, just drop some fucking comments. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We want to engage with you.
It's literally my name.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Engage with you like Gage's dinner.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, a ton of shit from the last schedule, but we've already got word that a new schedule is coming any day now. What do you guys want to see on this next schedule? What are your hopes for the future?
Well, I mean, I'm always hopeful for more music. So, Algorithm is something on my horizon for sure. So
Yeah, I would like that a lot.
Yeah.
but
yeah.
give me anything music, and I'm just gonna be happy. So
Totally. And we talk about it a bunch, but like the unexpected, like, oh, I didn't even think this was a record that was coming out or whatever, like, is always exciting. So yeah, just like any music, I trust that it's going to be good. I don't know the last time something came out of this little pocket of the underground that I didn't think was good. So, you know, just keep it coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. More music. Give me more of these. Give me more of these throwbacks. Give me more of these. Definitely more of these. I'm hoping that this is imminent. I'm a greedy little bastard, and I would love if the next Oracle comes out this year. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, just in general, more music. I'm always excited and just stoked to hear more stuff from them. Especially, I'm hoping new baddie soon. So
Yeah. More baddie. Like I said, whether or not that's Delilah Graves, Baddie Bat in name, Algorithm, hey, Neon Sermon, she's in that group too. Just
yeah.
I want all the baddie, I want all the loke, I want all the rest of it. And yeah, like DC was kind of setting up, you know, like the thoughts for future Mission Infect releases that could kind of springboard off this last one. That sounds fantastic as well. So there's a lot of directions they could go in this next few months, and there's not a negative one on my view. Unless it was just retiring and passing away. I wouldn't love that.
yeah,
But
Yeah, I'd prefer that didn't happen.
yeah.
And then Locatron would at least take over, hypothetically.
I guess that's true. If Low-Key just somehow gets Locatron cued in enough that he could make music, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Or maybe Ghost Pretty would come back from space and it's just Bridal Swag forever, and then we would want it to die eventually.
Although I don't want to be on record advocating for AI robot music, so maybe we don't do that necessarily. Let's keep the Low-Key, the human, in the driver's seat. Locatron is good for what he's currently doing.
he's cool.
Teach me lore.
We like Loke more.
Yeah, give me human Loke any day. As far as the records go.
So this message goes out to Loki. Don't die.
Yeah. What show
Just
would we do?
forever, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's probably going to wrap it up for this episode of Shadowland Offerings. Again, leave a fucking comment. Tell us that we're wrong. If our opinions don't line up with yours, tell us we're wrong.
Yeah. Fight us.
We can take it. We can
Yeah,
take it.
tell us
in the
how
comments,
much
of course.
you-
Don't like find us and then fight us. Like,
Don't hit
in the
us with
comments,
fists.
fight us.
Yeah.
First
It
off.
seems unnecessary.
Yeah. But
I have a feeling EpideM and the 001 remixes, a lot of people really like that. So I don't think anybody's going to want to fight us. So
No.
tell us down below what you love about these projects. We want to hear and see that shit as well. So if you guys don't have anything else, I don't have anything else. We will see you guys on the next episode of Shadowland Offerings. And this offering can't get any better. We'll see you next time.
don't drink the props.